Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hell yeah.
Aw, yeah.
Heck yes.
Heck yeah. Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Hey.
That's a great start.
Yeah.
Just right out of the gate with the weirdest possible energy.
Look. My name is David Bell.
Listen. My name is Tom Ryman.
Howdy. My name's Cody Johnston.
And we just watched Bill and Ted
face
the music.
Music.
The music. We did it.
Bill and Ted.
Step forward. A song created by Preston Logan, performed tonight, will save reality as we know it.
Dude, we better write that song now. Or why can't we just go to the future when we have written it? And take it from ourselves. Except, won't that be stealing? Cheers! How is that stealing? If we're stealing it from ourselves, dude.
We watched a Bill and Ted.
We watched a Bill and Ted.
Finally.
Yeah. Cody, thanks for being on. You had expressed excitement for this movie in a Hypecast.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. For that reason, I was very excited about this movie, and you invited me to do this, and I had not watched the movie yet, and it pushed me to watch it, and thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
Because, hoo boy.
Yeah, I watched this last night.
Thank goodness for nice things.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the movie?
I thought it was a joy.
Yeah, I thought it was, just an absolute joy.
Absolutely fucking delightful.
What a delight this film was.
Just wall to wall, from the first moment to the last moment. Just good.
Yeah.
Just good fun.
Yeah, it's been a bummer weekend, and so like this movie couldn't have come out at a better time. It's just pleasant.
Yeah, it really I needed it. It really spoke to me, which we'll probably get into later. The ending, all the stuff. It's real good.
Yeah. We're definitely gonna spoil this movie. So if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's like $19 to rent, and then it's $24 to own. Yeah. So I went ahead and just bought this movie.
Me too. Yeah, I was like, well, it's $5. I'll buy it. Then I can watch it again, which I will be doing.
Yes. And then it will be mine. Yeah.
I've already watched it twice.
Heck
yeah, I watched it last night, and then this morning I was like, you know what I could go for?
Yeah.
Bill and Ted Face the Music. This is the original writer of Bill and Ted.
Yes.
Yeah, and the director of Galaxy Quest.
Oh, I didn't know that. I can tell now. That makes complete sense.
It's got a lot of the same cast. Of course, Bill and Ted. It's got William Sattler. That's dead.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God! A delight. Yeah. Just constant delight.
Fucking William Sattler. Oh my God.
They did their best to get Ted's family back.
Yeah, the dad is the same dad. Missy.
Missy's the same.
Missy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two princesses are different people.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, they are.
I think they were actually little boys in a Bogus Journey, but you know.
Wait, what?
I meant the daughters. Not the princesses.
Oh, yeah. I was like, wait, what?
Wait, what? They were little boys? Yeah, no, they're real
no, the princesses. Yeah, I watched. Did you guys watch any of the Bill and Ted's leading up into this?
I did not, but I didn't feel I needed to.
I had watched them last year.
Yeah.
I watched Bogus Journey because I hadn't seen that in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was glad I did it. Just to remember Death.
Is the star of the Bill and Ted trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Despite not being in the first one, he is the star.
Yeah.
Yes.
My God. Yeah, this is It's Bill and Ted, and they're older, and their lives haven't gone anywhere. They have 2 daughters who worship them, and they learn that in like 70 minutes, the movie's in real time.
Yeah,
Yes.
they nailed that. I was very, so it's always surprising when a movie does that because they're really calling their shot and they really have to nail it down.
They do, whenever they look at the clock, it's a cutaway. So I kind of suspect they did something where like they knew in the editing it might be different.
Yeah, it felt like they had, they knew they wanted it to be pretty much the runtime of the movie, but that, okay, well, we'll do the audio for that once there's a cut of the movie so we can be as exact as possible. Very, very fun device. Kept you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, it's man. So the idea is that all life, the world will unravel unless they come up with their perfect song.
Like reality is starting to unravel. Right when the movie starts, we see like Kid Cudi gets like replaced with Jesus.
Yeah.
Like they swap places in time.
Well, right,
Yeah,
because the idea of the second movie, which they address right away. Right away, it's great because they're like, here's the first time you saw our dads. Here's probably the last time you saw them. And it's just the first 2 movies, and then they move on.
Yeah.
But the idea in the second one was they need to. George Carlin shows up and says that they need to write a song and play a song that will unite the world. At the end of the second movie, they play a big song with Death, and Station is there. And it's a big hit. It's like a #1 hit, but it turns out we see in the beginning of this movie that wasn't the song. That didn't unite the world. That's not what they were referencing. So every single attempt at music since then has been them trying to recreate that or try to unite the world with a song. It gets progressively worse until they're finally just doing like open mics and like playing their former babysitter stepmom's sister wedding.
Yeah,
That was amazing.
yeah. It starts
the
out
moment
with
he brought out the bagpipes.
well, he starts out playing a theremin.
Yeah, it's theremin and like what's that? It's like it's not voice singing because that's just singing, but throat singing. We're like
Throat singing. Yeah. It's they've just gone. Well, with the first song we see them play, it's like they've been scraping the bottom of the barrel for 25 years, just trying to figure out what the song is.
But also, I will say, not bad.
It wasn't bad.
Through and through, one thing I think that is lost in these movies, because you think like, oh, Bill and Ted, they're like whatever, they're in their guitars. They're very good musicians.
Yeah.
And that is something that...
Well, in the sequel, they go and get music lessons for like 12 months.
Right, yeah, exactly.
During their concert, yeah.
And they show up with their babies on their backs, and then they play the
and
show.
ZZ Top Beards.
Yeah, exactly.
The idea is like they're at a point in their career where they're being extremely experimental now because they're like running out of ideas. So yeah, by the time they're doing this, what's the instrument Keanu Reeves plays? I never
theremin.
remember what
That's
it's
a
called.
theremin, yeah,
That's
where
the
you
theremin,
you play the air, and then it detects what you're doing. Yeah,
theremin, and then like trumpet, and then bagpipes.
Yeah. Oh man.
The fact that it's Keanu Reeves makes it funnier, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
They're both very, very good in this movie. They're just fun to watch.
Yeah, they're really great.
Because here's the thing about their performance is they do feel like an older version of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like they aren't trying to be the same Bill and Ted from the other movies. They're older.
Yeah,
and they act older.
Yes, they're older. They are more mature. They're more mature versions of the fun dummies. And that really shines through. They're not just trying to recreate the characters. They're trying to let the characters evolve.
Yeah. So yeah, they're they go to couples therapy. They realize that their wives are probably going to leave them.
Well, that whole scene is great because there's something that I don't think they ever did in any of the movies is usually in a movie that's about like a duo or like a pair of friends, something happens in like act 2 that drives them apart.
Right.
That's never happened with these characters.
No.
So it's like at this point, like that whole couples counseling scene, one of the funniest parts of it is the fact that they can't conceive of doing anything separately.
Yeah.
So it's like Bill and I love you,
Oh
Elizabeth.
God, so good.
Yeah.
Just continuing to misunderstand what she meant by "say I" is really good. There are like really good bits in this movie.
Yeah,
There are.
We'll talk about the robot, I hope, because my God,
The robot
Oh my
is
God.
fucking
but yeah, like
great.
going to couples therapy as couples together and misunderstanding that and realizing that they're going to leave them. Just real fun. Right off the bat.
Yeah. They're confronted by Rufus's daughter. Who brings them to the future.
Kristen Shaw. Yeah,
Kristen Shaw,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they learn that the future totally hates them.
Because they didn't do the thing. They didn't do the
They
thing. Yeah.
didn't do
the thing. Yeah.
They didn't do the thing. And the future is like, you have 70 minutes to come up with this song or the world is going to unravel. So
Right, so that's
they
news too, because like the idea that they thought was, oh, they sing a song and they unite the world. But this is you are saving reality. It's no longer just unite the world. It's the reality is crumbling and you have to save reality.
they're two adults who believe they've saved the world, confronted with the idea that no, the future isn't as good as you thought it would be. You know, there's a lot of meaning there.
A lot of meaning throughout this movie.
Yeah. So they decide to steal the song from their future selves, and they're conservatively estimate in 2 years.
So like they decide to sort of pass the buck. They decide to let the future deal with it, with their mistakes. Yeah, interesting.
They sure do.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. But I think that it's like consistent with, because that's what they've done in the previous two movies. It's like, that's one of the things that I think like Bill and Ted is one of the better depictions of time travel, particularly the first two movies, because they do the game where it's like, well, if we know that we get out of this because we know that we go on to save everything, so we have figured out a solution to this at some point in the future. And they just kind of like reason that well, I would have already come back and given myself a key, or we would have come back and put a trash can on Ted's dad's head or something. So they're just like thinking, well, it's like the same line of reasoning they would have, where it's like, well, we've been trying to write the song for 25 years and we can't do it. Let's just go to the future where we've already written it.
Surely we've written it in the future. Yeah.
And they meet what I would argue is the villains of the movie. Which is their future selves.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Who I love the scene where Keanu Reeves tries to fight his future self. In the bar, and there's just he's so mad. I also love the line where he says, like, you're probably wondering, because they find them at a dive bar.
They're at like a hotel or a bingo hall in the middle of the day.
It's a really depressing setting.
I like when later they come back to a couples therapy to like try to, because this is when they learn that Joanna and Elizabeth are going to leave them. So they run back to try to like help it, and they just, it's like, we didn't make it worse, did we? Oh, dude, we totally made it worse.
They said we were going to make it worse, but we're not going to make it worse. Wait, no, we're making it worse now, aren't we?
But like the line that kills me is like they get back, it's like, oh, we met our future selves, and you really should leave us because I seriously think we're living in that van. We're definitely living in that van.
It's very funny how much more self-aware Bill and Ted are in this version of things like that. Of like, no, they're losers. You shouldn't leave us. We're losers in the future.
I like the line when he tries to explain why they're playing there, and he goes, "Us being here is humorously ironic." He says it like Neo. He does like he says it in a very Keanu Reeves way.
Yeah,
Keanu. They both just really kill it.
Yeah.
I thought the other person who's really killing it in this movie, besides obviously Bill Sadler, is the actress that's playing Ted's daughter.
Yeah, I like both.
Both of the daughters are so good in this.
Yeah, they're really great. But like I her specifically, like she's doing such a great impression of Keanu in the first two movies.
Yes.
Like she's even standing like him.
I think they're non-binary actually. I was reading an article about that.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I apologize then.
But they do a great impression of
yeah,
their dad. Like it's so good. It's so good.
They're so good. Like they even stand like Keanu.
The body language is really.
It's a perfect imitation of Keanu.
Yeah.
The daughters were. So, I mean, again, aside from everything else in the movie, some of the best part.
Yeah, their adventure is great.
Yeah.
Well, what I thought was cool is that we mentioned. I mean, this is like another thing that I think is cool, and this is all around a great, perfect, wonderful film. Is we mentioned that Bill and Ted they actually are like more mature versions of themselves. So they go and do kind of like what the older people would do, where it's like, well, let's just go get the song in the future after we've written it. Whereas the daughters have like do what Bill and Ted would have done when they were teenagers.
Right, they're like, we're going to assemble the team. Yeah, we're going to get the group together.
Make a band of great musicians,
Yeah. And I like all the people playing the musicians.
Yeah.
The guy doing Louis Armstrong was killing me.
He was so funny.
It was so great.
Yeah. I like when they show him the phone of Jimi Hendrix, and he's like clearly more enamored by the technology. At first.
I loved any moment Jimi Hendrix played and a musician from the past was like, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he shows up outside Mozart's house.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so good.
And just starts shredding.
Mozart was good in this. All the historical figures.
And Kid Cudi.
And of course, and Kid Cudi. I love the point where he's just like, I guess I'm kind of a historical figure.
Yeah, that was a great line.
I like the bit with Kid Cudi where he's just an expert on the multiverse and like quantum theory. Like,
it worked
he just
really well
immediately knows what's going on.
It was like a throwaway joke at first, and then it plays into the plot because he needs to know what's going on.
Yeah,
that worked out really well.
Station.
So. Station. Station. So they keep going into the future and trying to find versions of themselves that have made the song, and it's just worse versions.
It's so good. I love because like you know that this is going on because like Dave, like you said, like they're the future thems are the villains of the movie basically.
Yeah. And the future is the villain.
Yeah,
because also the robots. It's the future is basically the threat.
Right, and Kristen Shaw's mother, the great leader. Like it is the future is the enemy. But like that one bit where they're Bill and Ted are British. And you're like, well, obviously this can't be true. And they're just at David Grohl's house.
That was so funny. Like they go outside, Dave Grohl, who are you guys? What are you doing in my house?
Amazing. And that's another example of Tom, what you were talking about, of them being like, well, if we like, they know what we're gonna do. So if we don't know what we're gonna do, then they won't know what we're gonna do. So they put buckets on their heads and just like flap around until they escape, because then they don't know where they went or how they got out.
How it happened.
Yeah, that was a good bit.
That was great.
Oh my gosh. They're just squatting in Dave Grohl's house.
And just like Ted taking out the bottle and Bill being like, maybe like already had enough, and Ted like defiantly drinks even more, glaring at him.
And he's got like this glorious fake gut.
It's so good.
Oh my God.
Like future Ted's just a real piece of shit.
They're so good. And I also love this, like the running bit where like future Ted is a real piece of shit. Future Bill's like kind of like Bill never really has a huge problem with future Bill as
right,
much.
I think like he literally says at one point, it's like, I didn't have that much of a problem with the other guy, but this Bill is all right.
This one, yes, really. There's like those little differences between the two. It's very fun.
Oh, and then when they go even further in the future, and they're just these swole dudes in prison.
So good, singing that awful song. And like, is that a song? Yes.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the most profound is then they see their 95-year-old selves, and they have like a heart-to-heart with their old selves.
Mm-hmm.
Like forgiving their old selves and shit. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very, yes. Just great. Just great. It was just great.
It's just great. And then, of course, a bunch of people get murdered in this and go straight to hell, which in the Bill and Ted world is just where everyone goes.
Pretty much.
Yeah. If you die, you go to that hell, and that's it.
Right. And that is at the hand of course, Dennis Caleb McCoy.
Dennis Caleb.
Oh,
that fucking robot.
My God.
We haven't even talked about the robot.
When you said Galaxy Quest, it instantly clicked. They're like, oh, of course the fucking director of Galaxy Quest directed this. Dennis Caleb McCoy is so fucking funny and amazing in this. And I didn't realize it was Hank from Barry. And that the whole time I was trying to place him. And that puts it all together too. It's so good. For listeners, he's a robot that you think is an evil robot. And he accidentally kills people that aren't Bill and Ted. His goal is to kill Bill and Ted because Kristen Shaw's mother thinks that the prophecy was misread, and actually it's not them singing a song that brings the world together and saves reality. It's them dying that does it. So they send this robot through the past to try to kill them, and he keeps accidentally killing other people, and eventually that breaks him.
Yep. Yeah, and
but in like
his
the
reaction,
funniest possible way.
It's so good, and it's that like you. It's just like a little.
He's like a kid who got in trouble.
Yes,
right? He's like, oh no.
Yeah,
he instantly has this anxious energy, like oh no. Like a kid who like peed in class or something like that. It's so good, and he can't bring himself to do it, and then so like finally they all get sent to hell.
Right, because he shoots himself, and then Bill and Ted jump on him because they want to go to hell to save their daughters.
There's a scene where basically Bill and Ted commit suicide, where they're like, "Come on, kill us!"
Yeah, they keep yelling
hell.
at this nervous, sad robot who feels bad for killing everybody.
Yeah. And then two of my favorite characters is the demons they run into.
Yes.
Yes, two demons.
Who are like, enjoy hell, y'all.
Well, and the line after that is like, well, that's strange. Yeah, it's a robot in
hell. Well, right. So they fall down the pit, Bill and Ted, and then they're like, okay, we're in hell. And they look over, and then Dennis Caleb McCoy, the robot, has also fallen down. Like, well, that's weird. He's a robot. Yeah. He's a robot. He shouldn't be in hell. But he's a person. And I was delighted the entire movie. Watching this last night, and then I laughed out loud for the first time, and I couldn't stop as they're walking, and they're like, all right, fine, robot, you can come with us. And the robot pauses and goes, wait, I have a name. It's Dennis. I lost it. It's so, and then he keeps going and he adds his name, but just that first Dennis just fucking killed me. It's so good. McCoy, Dennis McCoy. Yes, that was his last name.
Dennis McCoy.
Dennis Caleb McCoy.
I'm Dennis Caleb McCoy. Oh, just so good. And then obviously he's basically the new Death, right? Because he's like, he tags along and he's kind of obnoxious to be around, but like he's part of the team, so they got to bring him along.
Like at the end of the movie when he's like, but I want to stay here and dance. Oh shit. That robot.
Fucking perfect film.
It's so good.
Oh my gosh.
So they make up with Death because they broke up with Death. They had creative differences with Death.
Yeah, and like Death tried to take the name while
right. Clearly, like that's the thing.
That sounds insufferable.
Clearly, it's all on Death. It is all Death's fault. Death would play 40-minute bass solos during their shows, and then he quit the band, and then he tried to take the name Wild Stallions, and so of course they sue him, and then he blames them for suing him, and he's just a very spiteful little baby playing. What's he playing by himself? He plays hopscotch by himself,
and tetherball,
and then tetherball. Yes, so he's still loving those games.
So the kids basically convinced Death to forgive Bill and Ted, and Bill and Ted apologize, even though, they really don't need to.
Right.
And
Well, just get so something we've seen, and this is throughout the movie with the kids, which I don't know, you could sense this is where it was building to for the whole movie, but Thea and I think Billy, it are huge, the biggest fans of music you could possibly imagine. They love all of their dad's songs. They love they love musicians. They're in awe in every single musician they get to be in the band. They're just huge music fans. They listen to it all the time. And so when they try to convince Death, they use that love of music to lift Death up. Out of his funk and compliment his terrible music. You know it's terrible, except for a few bass lines, a few moments in some songs. And they use that love of music to convince him that he's actually pretty good. They even say it before they go in to talk to him that he's the best bass player ever. So they believe that, but then they try to compliment some of his worst albums, and it's a little tough for them.
So
man,
good.
it's such a good scene.
Yeah.
He's just, you really liked that album? The one that critics called a confused mess.
So good.
Here's Sadler, man. He's killing it.
Yeah.
He's so good. It's amazing. I was very excited about this movie coming out. And I think I even said this on the last podcast we talked about this movie.
Yeah.
But as soon as it was revealed that Death would be in it, I knew that it would be just unstoppable. An unstoppable film sweeping the nation.
Yeah.
Man.
When they go back up, to Earth in Ted's dad's SWAT van. And he pounds his scythe on the floor and says, "Let's rock," and that's how it takes off. And then in the middle of that scene, as they're rocketing back up to Earth, fucking Dennis Caleb McCoy says, "It was cool when you said 'let's rock' because it made me also want to rock." It's just this fucking weird robot.
He's so awkward.
Oh my gosh.
Just a delight.
And what happens, the reveal is they get on the highway. They need to play the song. They don't have a song.
Sorry. To just to bump in. So when they visit their old selves, they have the song. The song has been written. There's this whole sort of side background plot of the princesses when they're older traveling through time. Mm-hmm. Which we kind of see the beginning of when they visit their older selves, but they have a little hard drive of a flash drive of the song by Preston and Logan. That is this is the song, and they listen to a little bit of it, but then they break it to make Dennis Caleb McCoy kill them, which he doesn't, and so on and so forth. Anyway, sorry, Dave, go on.
No, that is important, because what they realize is the Preston and Logan, it's not them, it's their kids. And their kids basically lead all these famous musicians into making the song to unite the world. Then they create a multiverse, version of themselves, where they make a bunch of versions of themselves so they can give everybody in the world instruments. So everybody... and not just in the world, but in time.
Yes, every single person that has ever existed in multiple realities.
Yeah. And everybody plays together, and it heals the universe.
It's beautiful.
It is.
It really is. Yeah, it's so good.
the ending credits are, I remember when they did this, it's people who submitted like videos of themselves. So it's just like real people from all over the world dancing.
Yeah, from everywhere, dancing and playing instruments, and just it's such. We keep using the word joy. This movie is joyful, like in every possible way.
It gets to, and it's so good. It lifts you up in a really powerful way, because that's what music does. That's music. It's universal. That's the point. It brings people together in a universal, almost indescribable way. I've been really itching to play music with people again because of quarantine and stuff like that. There's that like connection that you have. And yesterday, before watching this movie, I found software to be able to it works on latency and delay. And it allows you to sort of like jam with people together at the same time when you're by yourself and via the internet. And so I did that with some friends, and Did it work? It worked. It worked enough to get the desired effect, which was that like joy and that connection and that universal feeling that you get when you play music with people. So like for real, this movie, like it fucking killed me. As everybody was playing, because that's the point. It's not, they even say the line in the movie. It wasn't the song. It was everybody playing the song together.
Yeah.
And it's corny, but it's true, and it's beautiful, and I loved it. It was amazing timing, especially with what's going on these days. It is, and I've just been thinking so long about things like that, not just like music in general, but like when you're in a crisis, like when humans face a crisis, their instinct, most people's instinct, is to come together, like help each other by coming together. The solution to this crisis is to stay apart. It's a very unnatural thing to do when the drive is to come together. And so like there's a lot of like loss and like psychological things and effects that has on people, and this movie, whether they meant to or not, spoke to that in a really amazing and again joyful way.
Yeah. I gotta talk about this context I got from this movie that I don't know if they intended it or not, but it feels on some level intentional, because it's about older generation who's been told that they're going to fix the world, who thought they fixed the world, learning that the future is not good. And they keep saying one key thing. They keep saying, we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. And it's a bummer universe at first. Like Rufus is dead. Their guiding light. Their George Carlin is dead. They don't like their future selves. They're in a fight with death. They're refusing death. They need to embrace and think about death now.
Yeah.
They sort of learn and the conflict is the future is thinking they just need to die. We just want to kill them. That'll fix it. But the realization is that's not what's going to fix it. What fixes it is them moving aside and assisting the younger generation.
Yeah. I think
it's like, God fucking damn
it's all
Bill and
there.
Ted.
There's even a line I think Kristen Shaw says at one point about like, oh yeah, like your generation did so great to her mom. And yeah, literally they step aside and they support their daughters in leading the world. The younger generation is listened to and supported, and they lead everybody to come together. It is,
and there's a cycle, because Ted's father also doesn't believe him, and like has to embrace it as well.
And he finally does.
The title is Face the Music, which means to be confronted with consequences for your actions. Like, good God.
It's incredibly poignant, and I can't imagine it not being on purpose and saying exactly this. It's on its face, the music. It's all there. And it's so It's just so good. Everybody should watch it 4 times.
Yeah, the threat is existential. It affects all of history.
It's also inevitable. There's an inevitability to it. It's like, no, it's going to end. We all know, and we need to do something about it. And they put this older generation in charge, and they keep not doing it and not doing it. And literally, like, there's the moment early on when the kids are like, hey, while you, like, protect, look for the robot, maybe, like, you could give us your little time machine. Like, we'll go do the stuff that you got to do. Like, they have to, like, the younger generation has to sneakily take a little bit of control to do what needs to be done.
And the solution is, like you said, for everybody to be on the same page. It's not the song; it's that everybody is playing the song at once.
Yeah, it's in C. It's 113 BPM.
Yep. C major.
C major. Yes.
C major.
Yes.
What a fucking movie!
Yeah. No. I agree that has to be intentional.
Yeah. It's so 1-to-1 watching it. Mm-hmm. Like the moment it started, it was like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They plant that stuff early on, and it's very clear. Yeah, they're fighting. Yeah, it's so good. You don't see many movies that really address that, and it's amazing that it's Bill and Ted 3.
But it also, it doesn't shoehorn it because, for example, the villains being their future selves, that's not different from Bogus Journey because the villains are robots.
The evil us's. It's the evil us's. Like they say it out loud. Yeah.
So like the movies all kind of have set it up in a way that it doesn't. None of it feels forced. It just feels like a classic Bill and Ted adventure.
Yeah.
I love that. One of the things watching Bogus Journey that I forgot is how much of a tangent the movies go on too.
Mm-hmm.
Like the robot selves, and then they get killed, and then they have to fight the devil and death, and none of it really, like, none of this is the through line. Like, it's just one weird adventure after another, and they really captured that in this too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where like it's just like, oh, and then this thing happens, and we have to deal with that now.
It's very nonstop. They just keep going. There's no downtime, and it never feels like they're treading water at all. Because again, they call their shot. They're like, well, 70 minutes, and then we got to get to the song.
I love the therapist, by the way. I like how she
Jillian Bell.
Yeah. That for the slow progression of that, of realizing,
when they leave and like George Washington appears in her office and she's just like, no,
it just goes away and like she's done.
Runs down the hallway. Oh shit!
It's lovely. I can't believe. I love that the movie started with Jesus.
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm. And ends with Jesus on the cowbell.
On the cowbell.
Yeah, he's just fucking wailing on that
so
cowbell.
Good. Because that's what music does. It makes you want to wail on a cowbell.
Hell yeah.
It made Dennis Caleb McCoy want to play the tambourine.
Yeah. Eventually, he does get to dance.
He does get to dance. He does.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's also something to be said, about Keanu Reeves, the old Bill and Ted using the old outdated phone booth, where the kids are using the new time machine.
Mm-hmm.
That's also part of it.
Yeah.
I love how they brought back the phone booth. That was a really simple way of doing it.
Yeah.
Because you had to have it.
Yeah, and it wasn't. Yeah, it didn't seem. It made perfect sense. I didn't even think about it. I was like, oh yeah, they're passing that, and here's a little hologram from the other movie. It's nice, like a little homage, and then they move on. And I was like, oh yeah, of course, they'll just use the phone booth.
It's. I have to watch it again to confirm this, but writing wise, it did feel very airtight. It felt like everything fit.
Yeah. Like
we said, nothing was shoehorned, nothing felt sloppy, or there's no like boring second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think Cody said it's nonstop. Like it moves very, very fast.
Yeah, and every scene feels like the Dave Grohl's house feels unimportant. It's just like kind of a bit, but they like the father dies there and goes to hell. Mm-hmm. Like the plot keeps moving along every single time.
Right. Yeah. And that's what brings him to realize that everything was true and that he has to actually help.
Right.
He had to die
Yeah.
in order to realize what was going on.
Yep.
I also just love the conversation. Him like spelling it out in hell, and like just his whole like, okay, so like, well, obviously, so like, since I'm here, that means you did actually go to hell, and like that I could extrapolate that to mean, okay, you probably did go through time because there are all these people here. And so I guess you do have to write a song to save the world. And he's like, well, actually, to save reality. He's like, oh, reality? Is that new? Yeah, that's new.
Yeah, that's new.
I also like when he forgives Ted and then Bill speaks up and he's like, I wasn't talking to you, Bill. Bill's just like his shitty friend all the way.
Yeah, still, even in hell.
He still has to deal with Bill. Like, he's been dealing with Bill for like 30 years.
Right. And knowing that Bill is one half of that team. Like, he's realizing, oh, you do have to save reality, and Bill is half of that. Fuck you, Bill.
It's like, thanks, Chief Logan. I was not talking to you, Bill.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh my gosh.
Really good. And just so, like, the like themes aside, just like the just really effective filmmaking and understanding of music, I guess. The orchestration that the daughters do was so good, just like slowly sounding good.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded really bad and chaotic, and then just like the slow building of like, oh no, like you're building something together.
And it's like so. Again, it's like such an understanding of music because they start building the song the way that you would. You start with the drums, then you go to the bass, and then they add the Mozart in, and then Jimi Hendrix comes in on guitar. It's just really
job. It's good. Just good job.
It's good. Yeah, just good work. Good work all around.
And like also just like being able to, because that was one thing where like the end of Bogus Journey. I like that they sort of like implicitly acknowledge this, where like, okay, that song wasn't perfect. It's not like a perfect song that would unite the world. Nobody could write that song. It's why like the Tenacious D greatest song in the world isn't the song that they're singing about. It's another song referencing the song.
Yeah.
Because you can't actually do that in filmmaking and make a satisfying version of the perfect song. So being able to just say like, the song didn't actually matter. It was this other thing. And the song is still, like, good. It's still, it's still an emotional journey.
Yeah. I wonder who did the music. Because I know, like...
Mark Isham did the score. I don't know who actually wrote the songs in the movie.
I know Weezer is in the soundtrack.
They are, yes.
Yeah. I want to note that the two demons, I just looked them up. Those are the writers.
Perfect.
Oh, that checks out.
Those are the original writers and the writers of this movie.
Yeah, I figured they had to be somebody.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
That is wonderful.
I think that's a big part of this is the fact that they have the same writers doing it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was actually kind of surprised just because I didn't think that that's how movies work these days.
Right.
Because like, okay, created by, and it's the same names. Looking back, it's like, oh, of course, that's why the movie works so well.
Yeah. It feels like a Bill and Ted.
Yeah, it really does.
They didn't. I wanted to see Station. There's no Station.
I was a little disappointed Station was not there. There was a reference.
They reference it,
which is fine. But I could have used. Like just during the song, like we would see like Go to Heaven, right? Because it's got Einstein and Station there, and them playing instruments or something like that would have been fun. But you can't have everything.
I did like that there was a huge Circle K billboard behind Death at one point.
Oh, I didn't catch that. That's great.
Yeah, it's in the scene where Dennis is asking if he can dance.
God,
for this performance,
so good. I also love the just like random stuff with like when after he becomes Dennis and not just like the murder robot going by, and then Kristen Shaw's like, "You named the robot Dennis after my ex-boyfriend." Yeah. So good.
Solid.
And he walks back, and she's like, "No."
Yeah.
So good.
God, that fucking robot.
It's just like this weird ass robot.
I remember when I was watching this because I didn't know the actor, and I quickly like looked up the movie to see who the actor is, and I was like scrolling down looking for Robot, and I was only halfway through the movie, and I was like, Dennis Caleb McCoy. I don't know what that is. And like kept scrolling.
Yeah. Yeah,
And then I got to learn.
You would have to look at, because you wouldn't. He's under. He actually looks really good, but he's under so much makeup that you would never recognize Anthony Carrigan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can. It's just the voice, and then some of the mannerisms.
Voice,
Like as soon as I didn't even realize that until today when I was looking it up. But like can't wait to watch it again. But seeing that, I was like, oh yeah, there he is, just killing it. Everybody.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I think we've covered it. I don't know if anybody has any
final thoughts.
Just go listen to some music, I guess, after and watch the movie and feel connected to the universe through one of its universal languages.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely watch this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is like uplifting and just it's good. It's so good.
Yeah, it's a rarity these days, I think, and just just that kind of just unapologetic joy, I think, is what it brings. And it is an hour 31 minutes long, which is the perfect length for a movie that doesn't exist. Again, that doesn't exist these days either.
Right. Yeah, it's not trying to be anything but a fun comedy. It's just designed to make you feel good.
Yeah. Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Good job.
Great job, everybody who worked on the film. And just like Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter,
so good.
So good, and like they seem both like, again, just kind people.
Right.
And they've been excited about doing this for so long, and just you can tell that they love this throughout the entire movie. There's just a lot of love throughout the whole thing. So honestly, like, good for them for being able to make this happen.
Yeah. And it's slightly surreal to watch Keanu Reeves after the career he's had in this movie. Not too much, because I kept thinking like, yeah, Keanu, just kill the robot. Just kill the robot.
It's John Wickham. What are you doing?
Come on, man.
Yeah. Just shove a book on his neck and break his neck. You can do this.
Yeah, pick up your guitar and do something cool with it.
Yeah. Get a horse.
Yeah, rip a string off your guitar and like strangle him. I don't know. Do something.
Yeah.
Do a backflip. Come on.
Yeah. What are we doing here?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Cody, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for letting me join you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to tell people about?
Oh, I don't know. You can Google me. Yeah, I do a show called Some More News on YouTube, and Even More News is a podcast, and another podcast called Worst Year Ever. You can find me on Twitter and all the things.
Yeah, Google Cody.
You know
Cody.
Kind of
you
stuff.
love Cody.
Yeah, I hope so. Or not. Whatever. Everybody's got an opinion on everybody, so it's fine.
Sure.
I won't hold it against you. Just play some music.
Play some music. Watch Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
I'll plug our Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. Check it out. We got exclusive podcasts on there, like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. Feeling real chill.
Yeah, feeling pretty good. We got a store. You can go to it or not. Just it's tpublic.com/store/gamefullyunemployed, but like, or you could just like play some music. I don't know.
Heck yeah!
Just play some music.
I got Patreons and t-shirts and stores too from the names. But honestly, just play some music.
Yeah,
play some music.
That's the thing. Get in a phone booth, play some music.
Yeah, find a phone booth.
I love they're trying to input the number for infinity, and they keep going and going and going and going and going and going, and one of the princesses is like, just hit the infinity button.
Oh, that was great. I didn't even realize the gag is he's trying to type infinity.
It's so good.
Oh, perfect film.
Yep, perfect film.
Yeah, perfect film.
Okay.
Question.
Go on.
Well, so question for any of the filmmakers who are definitely listening to this. I wonder if the original release date was July 17th to match the 7:17 time that the song is played.
Oh.
I don't know, but I'm throwing that out there.
Okay. Look it up. Somebody look it up.
Somebody get to the bottom of this.
No, I want the filmmakers to comment, and nobody look it up. Make the filmmakers tell us.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah,
right.
they're fans. They're fans of the podcast.
Okay,
so.
good.
It's
good,
on
good,
you,
good.
Alex Winter.
Good.